Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh here on the 5th of March, Sunday, 2023, with FLOSSTUBE number 167. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about canted cross stitch. I have a little bit to show you, but I'm on a bit of a time, on a bit of a time constraint this morning. I've got to head off in about 47 minutes to head into Wellington to have brunch with a work friend from work. And I thought, well, if I get this filmed now, I can edit it when I get back. I've got to get a potato dish made for my contribution towards a dinner I'm going to this evening, late this afternoon. Yeah, so I'm a little more put together than normal because I made an effort this morning. Washed my hair, so my hair's wet, but that's all right. It's tied up, dripping down my back. Busy week at work last week. I don't know, just some challenges on my projects. Mostly around resourcing. We just don't have the right resources and a number of vacancies that we can't fill. And I don't know, it's a bit weird sometimes. I'm not working on one of the top 5 priorities, so then you're like, oh well, are we not doing these things? Oh no, we're still doing these projects. So you're like, oh, so we've top 10 priorities, so we're not working on these projects. Oh no, we're still doing those. Okay, so now we have a top 15 priorities. So what are we not doing? Oh, we're not doing anything. It's like, okay, so bye-bye. But anyway, the top 5 priorities get all the cream of the resources, I guess. So when you're in that middle tier of, we still need to do this, it's really important, but it's not going to make the newspaper, then you're like, you just gotta, I don't know, scrap things. It's frustrating. But this week coming, I'm only in the office, I'm only doing work for about half the week. I have off-sites the other half of the week. We've got a directorate away day on Wednesday afternoon, so from lunchtime through the rest of the day. And then on Thursday, Friday, I'm going on a training course. I haven't been on training for years. It won't be fun. I hate being with people in the room for 2 days, having to act like I'm engaged and not overwhelmed by everyone. You know, introvert exhaustion will ensue. I'm sure it'll be fine. And quick update on Dad, nothing significant to report. He's, doing okay. I had a chat with him yesterday, and, he's had those usual funny old man stories, like having to come home to go to the supermarket to find he didn't have his wallet because he'd left it back with his aunt, my great aunt, and he had to drive all the way back into Whakatane to get his wallet to then come back to go to the supermarket, and hearing aid visits and all that sort of stuff. So nothing too exciting to report there, which, given my dad's history, is quite a good thing. That's pretty much it from a life thing. Just, a lot of work, just busy, and, whatever it is. I did go to a movie last week as well. What did we see? We went to Empire of Light. The Brits do good slow TV, slow movies, and it was lovely and sad. It was sweet and sad. It was just, I don't know, it was just, good characters, good actors, sad, bittersweet storyline. My kind of TV, my kind of movie. Right, I do have a little bit of haul. Might have mentioned I had a Ribbon Rose haul come in, I don't remember. Why did I order from Ribbon Rose? I ordered 2 water lilies. So these are for cutting up projects that I'm not even going to do this year, but maybe I will do them this year. For this one, which needed the colour that's in all the stars and the moon and stuff. I couldn't kit, because I've kitted up this from Stash mostly, so the silks I'm pulling mostly from Stash, but I didn't have anything pale enough, so I did order the called for Moon Glow, which is fitting given it's called Moon Glow. I have actually kitted this up with silks from my stash, and I've got the called for fabric. I already had water lilies wisteria, which is called for, although I might swap it out because this is called for in both Moon Glow and Floral Dreams. And I think I'm just going to use it in here. It's it's weird because the colour looks really pink, but it's down here in that down here. I don't know. It doesn't look like it goes at all, but whatever. So I'm going to use this for this project, and I'm swapping it on the other project. And then of course I've got that one. Those are called for, and then I've just pulled silks from my stash to make do. The two colours that are going to be in the flowers are going to be a little bit different, but I'm going to pull these two. So PR078, oh that's PR1111, plenty of green for the greens. PR078 and this is a PR098. So those are my colours, and then the rest of it's DMC. So I'm awesome at showing these. So the flowers are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be a bit warmer, but one of these colours, I don't know what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. I feel like I'm missing something, but no, doesn't matter. So I bought that water lilies. Talk about making a short story long. And then I also got one of the called for Floral Dreams. So of course, I've already got fabric, not the called for, and I didn't have anything like this kind of soft buttery yellow. It's just blonde, so a lot of it in here. And then I pulled some threads from my stash. That was a silk of the month, so not a number. PR109, so I'm going to use that, I think, for these wisteria flowers, I think, or I'll swap, I don't know. 169's for the foliage, PR169, and this is also for the foliage, which is PR185. There's two different kind of variegated in the vine here, and then the rest of it will be DMC. So that's why I put an order through Ribbon Rose, because they had them in stock. And of course, you can't just order 2 silks from Ribbon Rose. That would be silly. So then I have had this design for a while. This is by Cherry Parker, a New Zealand designer. She's fabulous. And she has this denim Biscornu pincushion. And while I have 1 million variegated threads in my stash, I really wanted to stitch it with a called for, so I bought the Cottage Garden thread Muscat for that. And I have a, so that's something that I'm quite keen to stitch up. Really might be one of my, stitch a lot of smalls this year, small, because I have some denim, a pair of jeans I bought from a secondhand shop that I've washed and chopped up for a couple of projects. So anyway, the colour's beautiful. I love it. So I decided just to buy the skein for it. So yeah, that will be something you'll see probably coming sometime this year. I'm starting to cut up a couple of big blackbird projects where I will use stuff from my stash, but where so that there's a couple of multi-part projects. There's it's called the Garage Sale. I can't remember what the name of the sampler is. It was in the book last year at market. I don't know. I can't remember. And it's 5 parts all stitched together. And then I've got the 12 Garden Club series. So I kind of went through and did a bit of wrote down all the colours in my spreadsheet to identify which ones were multiples and stuff. And I can't remember which project this is for, but where, say, a colour is used through all charts or most of the charts, I've decided to grab, that. And I will be doing it on a higher count with 1 strand. So I picked up a couple of Weeks charcoal, again, can't remember what they're for, and a couple of Gentle Art flax. But a lot of them where a colour only appears once or twice, and I've got plenty of options in my stash. I will use my own over dyes. So, but just grabbed a couple, slowly start getting over. And then, again, keep in mind, I put an order in for 2 skeins of silk. I bought this because I hadn't got it yet, and, you know, autumn colours are my thing. And a few people have been talking about doing a couple of stitch-alongs and stuff with some designs from this. And anyway, I needed to get it because the books are nice. I don't know. I have it now. So that's ended up in my stash when the leaves fall by Blackbird. And then I thought, well, if I'm spending this much money, I might as well get a piece of fabric. And so they had some Fox and Rabbit. So I got a fat quarter of Up in the Attic 36 count. A little bit frustrating they don't come with a label on them, but I just made my own little label because if I bought several, anyway, it doesn't matter. And I do need to get the old overlocker out and give it the old wee doodle. Anyway, it's very nice, neutral, so I just bought that because it was there. So yes, that was quite an expensive little haul in the end, but I do like getting little packages of randomness. It makes me happy. So that's all the new stuff. Have I bought anything? I don't think so. Oh, I have bought something. I don't have it here, but I bought the Black Butterfly sampler. I'm going to have to put the details in. So here's a picture of it and the details will be here. That's the only chart that I've bought, I think. And yeah, again, when am I going to stitch it? No idea. Should we get on to stitching? I've stitched a little bit and I have a finish. Exciting. You probably can guess, I mentioned last week that I was very close to a finish and I was just going to push through and do it. There was a little bit more stitching than I thought because there's a whole lot of back stitch, and I was using Pattern Keeper for the project, and that of course only shows X's, and periodically I'd go back to the paper chart and have a look and see where I needed to put in back stitching, and I hadn't done that for a little while. And there was quite a lot to finish off. So I ended up finishing this on Monday evening, not Sunday like I had hoped. And it's Panoply of Peacocks by Tempting Tangles Designs, which I stitched on 40 count Silver Fern linen from Country Stitch using my own silk conversion from Silks For You. And this was start number 6 of 50. Last year for my 50 at 50 started, what does it say, backwards writing, 20 February. And finished at 27th, so it took me a year and a week. And very happy with it. This linen is lovely. And which way is up? Probably barely going to fit on the screen. And there she is, all finished. Huzzah. Counting errors and workarounds, and so completely my own colours, and the colour placement does not match the chart. It's similar, but where I might have a dark green, it might have been charted for a dark blue in the chart. It's just a bit random. So I had to finish off this one over here in the corner and put a whole lot of peas in, and then add a whole lot of back stitching. So when I showed this last week, I was working in here, but I had to go back and put a whole lot of back stitching in around all these little peacock tails. There was back stitching missing down here. There was back stitching missing here between their crowns. A few little peas were back stitched. P for peacock, I guess. I mean, of course it's P for peacock, but yeah. So really happy with it. So that is a big finish. There's a lot of stitching in this. It is not a, I mean, it almost fills a fat quarter, but it is quite dense stitching. So do not enter lightly. Do not think it's a quick stitch. I'm a quick stitcher and it is not a quick stitch. And then I was like, mentioned I was probably going to have another start, and I pulled a couple of things and I was just like, oh, I don't think so. I thought about starting who is it by? I think it's by Tinsel Cross Stitch. It's the band sampler. And I just was like, no, I don't want to stitch that one this week. And then I really almost started Giovanni's sampler, ironically by Tempting Tangles Designs. And I pulled it out and I looked at it and I was sort of reading through thinking, well, I'm sure this is a big sampler, so I have a big piece of fabric cut for it, 28 count. So it's full of, it's what, 80% specialty stitches. And I've got all the called for silk, I've got the called for fabric, but I had just put in my, because I have a spreadsheet with formulas and stuff and lookups and stuff. So basically I put in I track all my projects. So I put my chart in, I put in what the count is of the stitch count, and I put in, then I choose from a drop down which count of fabric I think I'm going to stitch it on. And then I have a formula that then divides it by 2 or by 1, depending on whether it's, you know, 16 count or 40 count, whatever. And then I put in my margin that I want to allow, so 5 inches or 6 inches or 4 inches or whatever it might be. And then it tells me what to cut, so I don't have to think about it. I just put that all in. So got this fabric and I pull it out and I was thinking, I can't see how the silk is enough. So there's one cotton is called for. Should I get the thing and show you? Because I'm talking about this thing and most of you won't know what I'm talking about. I'll go and get the project. I'm so disorganized. Ironic when I've got to do this video in a hurry, but never mind. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's Giovanni's, and I called it sampler, Giovanni's alphabet. And I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So, called for fabric, 28 count antique white linen. No, 28 count vintage country mocha. And silks and classic colorworks. Got the 3 skeins, got all the called for. So 2 skeins were called for. And I've got it all ready, ready to go. Beautiful. I love these colors. These colors make me so happy. Like, anyway. And I was thinking, there just can't be enough silk for this because it's a really big, you know, it's a huge piece of fabric. So I'm reading it, having a look at the instructions, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. It's stitched over 1. It's on 28 count, stitched over 1. Now, there's not that much cross stitch. I mean, there is in here in the little Hutt. I mean, there is cross stitch. Like, there's cross stitch in the alphabet. I mean, there's probably more than, probably like 45% cross stitch. And a lot of, and I was just like, I can't get my head around. I'm happy. I couldn't. I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood to start. And I usually start at the bottom, and I'm like, God, I have to start with the barred yellow stitch, and I'm probably going to fuck that up. So I might have to stitch this upside down and start at the alphabet just to get, you know, I might have to go that way. I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood for it. So I put it aside. So that was great. It was like, what, 5 minutes talking about a project that I didn't start. So then I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I went through all my samplers, and I was like, I really want to do a silk project because I finished a silk project. And then I looked at my little spreadsheet, and I'd written a note, start after Peacocks is finished, which is another Tempting Tangles design, The Long Way Home. So again, I just pulled that and I started that. So out with one, in with the new. So this is The Long Way Home by Tempting Tangles Design, which is on 36 count Arctic Glacier by Seraphim Fabrics. I picked this up from Garron Stitchery probably last year market, or the year before, who knows, probably the year before to be fair. And I'm using my own silk conversion, so I started this on the 27th of February. And again, using all my own silks. And I got the bottom row and the bottom part of the phrase done. And yeah, each of the little houses is its own little finish. And got a couple of the little mandala motifs in. And I'm really happy with it. I do like this fabric. It's this lovely Arctic blue, but it has these sort of grey smudges all the way through it, which I quite like. So yeah, that is there. Probably my red is a little redder, more red than what they have. My blues are a little darker, a little more tealy, but majority of it is in the green. Majority of the motifs have the green base, this which is a Silks For You, which I have tons of because I think I used it, it's leftovers, and with little bits of colour in. So it's this lovely muted weird palette which makes me happy. So yeah, yay. So got a good start on that. So what was that? Finish and a start. And then it's the new month. So we've got all of my monthly projects now to work through over the next few weeks to keep on track with various sales and things. And first up, I decided to work on my Grandma's Jewellery Box by Carolyn Manning Designs. This is a monthly sale, paid sale. So I'm doing this on big piece of 32 count antique white linen from Zweigart using Call for DMC and my own metallics and beads from Stash, just random stuff. And these are going to be made into ornaments, ideally in December this year. It'll be fun. And it's this one here. So it's probably ended up being a little more pink than what the design would have been because I used some pink beads, and the metallic, I don't have much number 4 braid in my stash. So I just used a paler pink 1 strand of DMC with 2 strands of blending filament to give a little bit of sparkle. It's probably not as sparkly. I make it sparkle. Probably not as sparkly on the screen as it is in person. And then that's the bottom 3. So January, February and March. And I've just given heaps of room to cut them out and make them into ornaments later this year. So that didn't take very long at all. That was a nice... The design this month was quite easy to sort of colour complete because you could kind of stitch all the way around without counting too far with like one colour and then come back with another. It's been 3 months. The other previous months have been a little bit where you might stitch a colour here, but the next time you stitch it's way away. So you sort of have to come back to it. Not that it really matters, but you can thread up a needle, or in my case I had, I think, 3 needles threaded up with each 3 colours, so I could just crack right onto it. And then yesterday evening or yesterday afternoon, it was sort of rainy, foggy, rainy, misty, horrible weather here. I sat on my bum and I did some stitching. So I pulled out Stitch Goddess by Tiny Modernist that I'm stitching as a stitch along, a loose stitch along in the New Zealand Cross Stitch Facebook group, and there's a few people stitching it there, but I sort of kicked this off with Judy, an Aussie in a Kiwi world, and I'm just aiming to stitch around 10% a month, so I should get this finished before the end of the year. I'm stitching this version, just the main version. The chart does come with a bonus girl with different hair and skin, but I'm stitching the ginge, and it's not the sort of thing I would normally stitch, but I just was drawn to it when I think whoever shared it, probably Judy, shared it a while back. I was like, you know what, I need to go and get that. It's available from her website, The Tiny Modernist, and I'm stitching this on 35 count ocean blue from Country Stitch using a variation of the call for. There's a few, I changed the pinks. Can't remember what I changed, but I changed a couple of colours. So yeah, this I actually started on January the 1st, so I'm quite keen to stitch on this quite early in the month. Itchy nose. And so I'm just a hair over 30%, like 30.02%. When I picked it up, I think I was 28 and something. So I got quite a bit, well, I got just over 10%, 11% done yesterday. Last time you saw it, I'd filled in, so I had all the vine and the leaves up both sides, and the little tiny pink, light pink blobs, which you can't see from here, but you can see in person. So then, of course, I got all of this. So all of that's done, that bottom bit. The little, I could have, again, colour completed where I didn't have to count too far. So basically everything's done now on the outside of, so below her dress, I even filled in the little eye and snout on the hedgehog that had been missing. And then, yeah, those two ducks took me up to the 30% by filling them in. So probably, don't know what I'll do next time. I might continue on working and do the rest of the outline. Torture, isn't it? Leaving the girl till last. Most people start on the girl or in the middle. And get this moon. Might get the moon done. So yeah, I think next time I'll start working. I don't think I'll get that far because I think another 10% will probably be, you know, work my way up, bunnies. But again, if there's a colour here and I can count up. I've already had to frog one whole side of this, so I don't want to have to frog anymore because she is quite symmetrical until you get to like the scissors, you know, that obviously they're a bit different. But yeah, so I'll probably do bunnies and squirrels. I might get to the moon if that fits within the 30%. We shall see. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's so nice to get a little bit of colour in it because it was looking a little bit meh with a vine you couldn't really see on screen. And I just love the little bright pops of red and orange in there. So yay, really happy with that. So yeah, 30% done. That's it. That's quite a lot. Start and finish with my little ornament and then a bit of project on one of my cells. Who knows what the next week will bring. Again, I've got training course, so I've got quite a lot of pre-work to do, which I tried to do on Friday. I attempted to do on Friday, but there was some other issues that needed my attention, and in the end it got to about 3:45 on Friday and I was just like, I'm not starting pre-work now. It's ridiculous. Crikey, look at the time. So I'll get this wrapped up. I'm going to get this edited when I get back from brunch, and I need to decide what my next finish is going to be. I've got a couple of things that are pretty close. I need to pull them out. I still haven't done the stitch with me. I know. Needles on fire. March. I'll definitely get one done in March. It's just they're not as relaxing as stitching without it. Oh, I do want to say thank you. I had a couple of coffees bought for me this week. It was a lovely, I always get a surprise when that happens. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if anyone else wants to buy me a coffee or two, links in the doobly-doo. So in my description box, the doobly-doo, I always put details of all the projects that I show you. So my starts, my finishes, my WIPs, with materials, details about materials and the chart and the designer. So always check that out. There are my contact details there if you want to get in contact with me, and a link to my buy me a coffee if that's something that you're keen to do. But there's no requirement to do that. Otherwise, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share with a friend, leave me a lovely comment if you want. Don't leave me an unlovely comment, but even if you do, I don't really care. It still counts as engagement and I'll just probably block it. No, I won't block it. But yeah, thanks for coming along. I better go. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.